Mike.
How you guys doing?
Well, no. Not as good as you right now.
Oh, true.
I mean, you are the king. You're the king of the mountain. You are Mr. Emmy.
Well,
This is 23?
It's not the only Emmy that was given out tonight.
But I mean,
a lot of them.
I think the bear might be the king of the mountain.
I don't think so. They don't have as
You're
many
still
as you
on the
got.
record.
Yes.
You still on the record now.
Where in the hell do you put all those Emmys?
The world knows Jon Stewart as a razor-sharp comedian who could dissect political absurdity with surgical precision during his legendary tenure on The Daily Show. But even the most eloquent satirist can become tongue-tied when love unexpectedly enters the equation. Behind Stewart's polished on-screen persona lies a charmingly awkward love story that began with a disastrous blind date, a lost phone number written on currency, and 2 giant burritos consumed in mortifying silence. The setup. A production assistant plays Cupid.
Were you an animal lover before you met Tracey?
I was so angry at animals until I met Tracey.
While Jon may joke, Tracey's love of animals is serious.
I was a little apprehensive when I was coming here today. I go, what is Tracey going to think? Because Tracey, I love a good burger. I still do.
The year was 1997, and Jon Stewart was working on a romantic comedy film called Wishful Thinking, starring Drew Barrymore and Jennifer Beals. Stewart played a character named Henry in this Miramax production, but the real romantic comedy was happening behind the scenes. While navigating the world of independent filmmaking in Lower Manhattan, Stewart encountered a female production assistant who would unknowingly become the architect of his future happiness. This crew member approached Stewart with what seemed like casual conversation, but carried the weight of destiny. She mentioned her roommate in glowing terms, describing her as someone Stewart would find genuinely captivating. The production assistant planted such an enchanting picture of her roommate that Stewart felt compelled to pursue this mysterious woman, despite never having met her. The roommate in question was Tracey Lynn McShane, born August 6, 1967, in Philadelphia. At the time, McShane was working as a veterinary technician, having graduated from Drexel University with a degree in design and business. She had initially worked as a graphic designer before transitioning into animal care, foreshadowing her lifelong commitment to animal welfare. She was intelligent, funny, and possessed a quiet strength that proved essential in weathering the storms of celebrity life. The Lost Number. What happened next has become the stuff of romantic comedy legend, though it felt more like a disaster film to Stewart at the time. After being thoroughly convinced by the production assistant's enthusiastic endorsement, Stewart decided to take the leap and contact McShane. But this was 1997, before smartphones and digital contact storage made preserving phone numbers foolproof. In a move that would haunt him for weeks, he wrote McShane's phone number on a dollar bill. This seemingly practical solution quickly transformed into a cautionary tale about the intersection of romance and nicotine addiction. Stewart was still a smoker at the time, and in a moment of absent-minded routine, he used that very dollar bill to purchase a pack of cigarettes. The realization must have been devastating. Here was a woman described in such glowing terms that he'd be a fool not to pursue her, and he had literally smoked away his chance at contact. For days, or possibly weeks, he found himself in the peculiar position of having met his potential soulmate through a third party, but having no way to reach her. Fortunately, his investigative skills proved more reliable than his organizational abilities. He managed to track down the production assistant's phone number through the film's call sheet, the master list containing contact info for everyone involved in production. Through this connection, he was able to get McShane's number and finally make the call that would change their lives. The disastrous first date. When Stewart finally connected with McShane and arranged their first date, neither could have predicted the comedy of errors that would unfold. They chose a Mexican restaurant for their first meeting, a seemingly safe choice. The evening began ominously when McShane, overwhelmed by nerves, fell into complete silence. Stewart, who typically responded to anxiety by becoming more talkative, found himself facing a dining companion who wouldn't touch her food and seemed to be having a miserable time. The contrast in their nervous responses created a perfect storm of miscommunication and misread signals. Stewart's interpretation of McShane's behavior was devastating to his confidence. He became convinced that he had not only failed to impress her, but had actually repulsed her. In a moment of awkward gallantry mixed with wounded pride, Stewart proceeded to consume both meals, finishing what he described as 2 giant burritos while his date sat in apparent horror. The silence at the table must have been deafening. Stewart, already known for his quick wit and verbal agility, found himself powerless against McShane's nervous quiet. Every uneaten bite of a burrito seemed to confirm his worst fears about his romantic prospects. But he wasn't ready to surrender. The turning point. Refusing to let the evening end on such a sour note, Stewart suggested they visit a nearby bar. Sometimes the most profound moments in life hinge on the smallest gestures, and his reluctance to give up on the evening, despite all evidence suggesting he should cut his losses, demonstrated the kind of persistence that would characterize their relationship. At the bar, alcohol worked its ancient magic as a social lubricant. After 2 shots, McShane finally began to relax and reveal a personality that had been hidden beneath her nervous exterior. The transformation was remarkable and immediate. Stewart later learned McShane's silence wasn't rejection, but rather her particular response to anxiety. While he became verbose under pressure, she retreated into quiet observation. This fundamental difference in their nervous systems could have been a relationship killer, but instead became one of their most enduring complementary traits. The revelation of McShane's intelligence and humor hit Stewart like a lightning bolt. This was the moment when he realized the production assistant's glowing description had not been hyperbole. The immediate commitment. Stewart's response to the revelation was characteristically direct and charmingly awkward. Recognizing he had found something special, he decided to secure McShane's interest before the evening could end and potentially change her mind. His solution was to write her a note that would become legendary in their relationship lore. The note was simple, direct, and left no room for ambiguity. It asked if she would be his girlfriend and provided only 2 possible responses, yes and of course. This binary choice system eliminated any possibility of rejection while maintaining the pretense of giving her options. It was simultaneously sophisticated and endearingly juvenile, the perfect encapsulation of Stewart's personality at that moment. The note represented his recognition that this woman was worth pursuing despite the evening's rocky start. McShane's response to the bold gesture isn't recorded in any sources, but her eventual agreement to date him suggests she was charmed by his directness and confidence. The Crossword Proposal. After years of dating, Stewart decided it was time to propose to McShane. But true to form, he couldn't simply do it conventionally. Knowing that crossword puzzles were a shared passion that bonded them as a couple, Stewart conceived of a proposal that would combine their love of wordplay with the most important question of his life. He enlisted the help of Will Shortz, the crossword editor at the New York Times, to create a personalized puzzle that would contain his marriage proposal. This wasn't just any puzzle constructor. Shortz was the most respected figure in the crossword world, and his involvement elevated Stewart's proposal from creative to legendary. The collaboration between Stewart and Shortz resulted in a puzzle filled with clues leading to the ultimate question. Stewart later explained that crossword puzzles represented a real bond in their relationship, describing them as a constant reminder that he was married to a very smart woman. The proposal was successful, and Stewart and McShane married in 2000. They went on to have 2 children, Nathan Thomas Stewart and Maggie Rose Stewart. They also founded an animal sanctuary, the Hey Friend Foundation in New Jersey, combining their shared love of animals with a desire to make a positive impact on the world. Now it's time to hear from you. Could such an awkward beginning actually create the foundation for a stronger relationship? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.